Good morning, I'm Ben O'Hara-Byrne with your morning check brought to you by Bath Fitter on Vancouver Island. Here's what you need to know to get started on this Wednesday, October the 16th. We'll get a clearer picture later today of the environmental impact of the cruise ship industry on Greater Victoria. The Harbour Authority is scheduled to release a detailed emissions inventory ahead of its annual general meeting on Thursday. It will outline the emissions for the Ogden Point terminal, from cruise ships to ground transportation. It comes as Victoria Council gets set to discuss a motion to be tabled also on Thursday, asking for a limit of cruise ships entering the city until a plan can be found to limit emissions and waste. Ogden Point Terminal is now the busiest cruise ship port of call in the country, with 250 ships welcomed last year alone. That's up from just 110 in 2002. Well, if you're heading to fill up today, get ready for a big jump in prices. The cost of a liter of regular gasoline is up 18 cents to $1.57.9 at most stations in Greater Victoria. Experts say this was expected given retailers have been paying a higher wholesale price than they were charging customers in recent weeks. And they say these high prices will likely stick around for some time. A 4-day sentencing hearing has been set for December 16th for an Oak Bay man convicted of fatally stabbing his 2 young daughters. Andrew Berry was found guilty last month of second-degree murder in the deaths of 6-year-old Chloe and 4-year-old Aubrey Berry. He will automatically be sentenced to life in prison with no eligibility of parole for 10 to 25 years, but a judge will decide when he can apply for parole and whether or not those 2 sentences should be served consecutively. Well, tomorrow is more than just the first anniversary of Canada's legalization of recreational marijuana. It is also the first day of legalization for the production and sale of cannabis derivatives such as edibles and vaping extracts. However, those products won't be available until mid-December because producers need to give 60 days notice to Health Canada.
It was my independence is how I get around.
Nanaimo RCMP have delivered a surprise to a partially paralyzed man who had his adapted e-bike stolen more than a year ago now. Police not only recovered the bike, they also brought it in for a tune-up, which they paid for, before returning it to Aragon Clock Hours. The $10,000 bike was found along with other stolen items in a storage locker earlier this month. Police say one man faces a number of property crime-related charges. And a reminder to drivers with chillier weather setting in, thanks to this close call for law enforcement officers in Wyoming. A sheriff's deputy and state trooper were on the side of the road for a traffic stop when they were almost hit by this passing car. Authorities say the driver lost control on black ice, nearly hitting the officers. In sports, Pacific FC face a crucial clash on the road tonight against FC Edmonton before closing out the season at home on Saturday. And staying with soccer, a huge night for Team Canada in Toronto last night, facing rivals the U.S. in CONCACAF Nations League action. And former Whitecap star Alphonso Davies gives the red and white the lead. That would prove to be the winner as Canada beats the Americans in men's soccer for the first time in 34 years.
I've been trapped in a loveless marriage for the last 12 years to an old battle axe named Kim.
And imagine this, a contestant on Wheel of Fortune became a social media sensation after sharing a little bit too much information when introduced by Pat Sajak. Blair Davis of California describes his family with tongue firmly planted in cheek. His sarcasm made quite the impression. He didn't win, but some are calling it the best intro of all time. The forecast today calls for a wet day, but still fairly mild, with rain on the South Island, periods of rain on the Mid-Island and on the West Coast, and rain today on the North Island. And there are your Wednesday highs. We always love to know where you're watching from. Don't forget to like and share the CHEK Facebook page. That's been your morning check for this Wednesday, brought to you by Bath Fitter. I'm Ben O'Hara-Byrne.